Time for some Charlie boys? Yes, it is. White Castles are served.
I almost didn't throw the white flag. I was going to give you one more lap.
The 9 running on the tires. He'll slide up off of turn number 4, Jerry. You've got a new race leader, Matthew Loeb. Your race leader with 4 laps to go.
All right, who told you to tell that joke?
Welcome, everyone, to Season 2, Episode 11 of the IMCA TV DirtCast. Still no Jerry. Isn't this great? Lately, this has been like we've had a reprieve, a vacation.
Jerry is MIA. Does anybody even know
Jerry
where Jerry's
free
at?
zone.
Jerry has been a jet setter. He drove up to Spencer, I think, Monday to get rained out, just like you did,
Yeah,
Jim.
he did.
Then he spent
Yeah.
some time in Knoxville. He spent a lot of time in Marshalltown this week, so
Yeah.
he's been
I heard
busy.
he's running the Knoxville Nationals this year. Any truth to that?
Well, he was on the track. He was in the pace car. He was in the pace car Wednesday
I heard
night.
he was calling the shots this year at the Nationals.
Is he the race director?
Race director.
Is,
I don't
is his
think
brother
that-
flagging? I had to say that because when I went to Boone,
Jason's a pretty good flagman, though.
he is.
The good
He
Van,
is. He's
the good
great.
Van Sickle.
Yeah.
I went
The
to-
one with talent.
The last time I went to ouch. Last time I went to Boone, Jason was flagging. I'm like, is that Jason flagging? But it was.
I thought he hurt his shoulder at one time.
Carrying Jerry all those years, I'm
Yeah.
sure he did.
God, shoulder, back, everything.
The older he gets, the heavier he gets.
So he went from the guy who talks a lot to we brought Carson in.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's our wallflower.
I got a position.
Yeah.
The what?
The wallflower. You just sit there and observe. You don't say a lot.
Well, typically it's all stuff that happened like 10 years before I was born.
Oh.
Exactly. Half the shit Carson
You're
don't
in
even know
the
what we're
you're in
talking
the
about.
seat, Carson. You got to carry the show.
High expectations sitting there.
There's the picture. There's Jerry.
We're,
Oh, yeah, there's
He's with
Jerry.
Jim, huh?
we're counting on you to say the dumb shit that Jerry says.
Jim, did you make it out of Maui safely?
Made it out of Maui.
I see they had some
Well, I'll
fires.
be- I'll be going
That's some
back.
crazy stuff going on in Maui. But
Luckily, the IMCA compound is on the other side of the island.
fortunately,
So
No risk of fires over there.
no.
the,
That's crazy. You,
It
you
is
guys-
nuts.
You
Yeah,
guys
I've
watch
seen that.
anybody? That
No, I haven't heard anything.
It is insane. If you watch some of those fires, how the wind was blowing like 80 mile an hour, and a fire like that's going to fuel wind as well. But it just looked like a hurricane of fire.
Just can't imagine.
Wow.
I mean, there's nowhere to go. I mean,
No.
there's no
No.
way to escape it.
No, it's pretty sad actually, to be quite honest. So let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about
Yeah.
cookies.
Hey,
Cookies.
speaking of
Those
sad,
are
how'd that-
delicious.
How'd that 10,000 to 1 stock car race turn out?
Which one?
The one that wasn't ours.
I don't know. Didn't hear anything about it.
Nobody did.
Oh, whoops. Let's talk about cookies. I got my Cookie Monster shirt on today.
And I've got cookies.
Oh, my trophy's in the way. Wait. It's not my trophy.
Barksdale State Fair.
I got my
cookies.
Bub Hughes Cookie Monster shirt on, and I just grabbed it out of the closet today and threw it on. I'm like, oh, I got a podcast. I think I'll wear a racer shirt.
Is that a Jason Hughes shirt?
Nah, Bub. Better.
Oh, okay.
Better than Jason. Bub is more famous in my world because Bub is
He's the meat guy, isn't he? Isn't he
he's
the-
my resident barbecue guy. He's the guy that gives me all the secrets. I have learned that barbecuing is like racing in one aspect, especially, and that is like you can't pry secrets out of people that you don't get to set up unless you know what the hell you're talking about. It's like, you can go ask somebody about their race car and they'll kind of tell you stuff, but they won't tell you stuff if they know you don't know what they're talking about. And barbecue is the same way. Once you start figuring out the barbecue terms and like what the tricks are that people do, then it's almost like
like speed secrets,
like
huh?
a secret society of barbecue people.
It
really
you
is.
do know what gives you instant street cred in the barbecue world?
Yeah, I do. That's what you're using the barbecue with.
A Jumbo.
Pellet smokers are for girls. I've
Hey,
had
now.
people tell me that.
Hey, now.
I'm like, well, they're kind of easy. And
Apparently, that's what you have.
they work
Yes,
kind of good.
that
We don't
is
have
what
any
I have.
pellet smoker sponsors, so I can say that. Although I do own a Traeger, and it works really well.
For now, we don't have any.
Right. What are you slacking on that for?
Yeah.
But
I'm
anyhow,
working on it.
Yeah, we're getting off track. Bub is my barbecue guy. He's a super nice guy. Plus, he races IMCA stock cars down in Aztec. So he's got a Cookie Monster car, which coincidentally, I went to KSP a couple weeks ago, like 2 Saturday nights ago, I think. It was 2 weeks from tomorrow. And I knew I was going to forget his name. Hammond, Dave Hammond, I think is his name. Races a mod and a stock car at KSP, and he had a Cookie Monster stock car. And I said to him, "Hey, did you buy that from Bub Hughes?" And he's like, "Huh?" He's like, "No." I was like, "So the Cookie Monster theme on his car?" He's like, "Oh yeah, every year we pick something for the kids," and he had a Cookie Monster car. I don't know. I think
That's
he
a good
won
theme.
that night. He did win the stock cars that night. I think I was there, if I remember correctly. He was in the. He said he was going to the Clash on the coast and everything next year and stuff. You know, that was nice. I enjoyed going to KSP. There was some controversy there a couple weeks ago, and that's not why I went, but it's kind of why I went. You know, I hadn't been there for many years, and we were in Waco. My wife had that week, late that week, planned to go down there because Kennedy didn't have cheerleading. That really controls our family schedule. And so we went down to Waco, and I said, you know, I think I'm going to drive up to KSP tonight. So I went up to KSP on Saturday night and was very glad that I did so because there's a lot of really nice people there, and the racing there was very good, and it's a beautiful facility. And for us at IMCA, it has a lot of history there.
You're not going to find a better family than the Bransons.
It's just, I mean, there's just...
Jay and Jana and Jerry and...
It's interesting to me when I went there. The thing that made me smile behind the scenes is like I'm talking to different racers, and they're all they're genuinely, in my opinion, they were genuinely nice. I don't think they were just being nice just because it was me. I think they're just nice people.
Sure.
But they don't get along with other nice people. Right. That's what I love about racing is you've got people who are just awesome people, but they still they're like oil and water with other really nice people that they race against because the sport's so competitive. Right. But I enjoy that aspect of it because there's just so many good people. I got a lot of good friends in Texas. Some of my best friends in racing are in Texas, obviously. So, but anyhow, so I like racing and maybe three people. Like, am I one of those people, Ryan?
No, you're my boss. I don't. Yeah,
well, what the hell?
You're not people.
What about me?
Nope.
You're fired.
What?
Nope.
You're fired.
Definitely not Jim. you guys outright
Jerry.
Jim, and neither one of you are on the list. No.
How many dogs does Jerry have?
3.
They don't count as 3 people, though, right?
No,
So
I like my
Jerry's-
mom, my mother, and my ma. I don't know. 3 different ways to say mom. The rest of the world can go to hell. That's the way it is.
Yeah, who doesn't love their mom?
Yeah.
You don't love your mom, you got problems. You should get counseling. That's my opinion.
You want a cookie?
Yeah.
I
I
went
had
to-
one. I mean, yeah.
There's a few left. I
You
think.
can tell are they in a pile? Usually, when you get those things,
We're getting down to the bottom.
Ryan brought Iowa State Fair cookies.
I went
which
to
are,
opening night of the state fair last night in Des Moines. It's like 2 miles from home now, so I couldn't.
I've never
like,
done
not.
crack cocaine in my life, but I think it might be something like this.
It's good.
If I had to envision, like, what is crack like? It's like, well, it's in a cookie form. It's right here.
It's right there. And I didn't realize it, but I ran into hobby stock driver John Watson last night at the fair, and he said that the fair bought out, what is it, Barksdale's Cookies, and now they have control of it. And they had probably a dozen to 20 people working in their building and just lines forever. Everyone was walking off buckets.
Barksdale must have been making too much money.
Probably.
When the track was still there at the fairgrounds, we run the dairy race and that there during the fair, and I do believe that is what gave me diabetes was
The cookies?
dairy share at the fair, and I think I lost count at about 3 buckets of cookies.
I'll be sure to stop back at the fair when I get home tonight, and I'll ship you a bucket of them.
Oh, no.
We'll finish you off. We'll do it that way.
I mean, a cookie and a rock star. If that don't give you diabetes, nothing will. Nothing will.
I also ran into Wahoo last night at the fair, Mike Albertson.
Oh,
Lucky you.
God.
He and his wife and daughter. His daughter was the Audubon County Fair Queen, so she was there for the
Oh,
state
no
Fair
kidding.
Queen
Well, that's cool.
competition. Yeah, it was a pretty neat
That's
deal.
awesome.
Ran
She
into,
must look like her mother.
yeah, I mean, she's got a lot nicer personality
Ain't
than
no
her father.
There ain't no way she looks like her dad.
It's Mike Van Genderen there also, so there was all sorts of racing people at
Holy
the.
shit. Celebrity time at
Yeah,
the
it
fair.
was.
My wife has her day of Iowa State Fair schedule like next week. Sometimes she's going with Kennedy. Sometimes I go. I may or may go.
You
not
should go. A lot of fun.
It is, but you just eat a lot of calories and sweat.
I think I got the Cajun chicken on a stick. I got an elephant ear, and I got these cookies. I'm pretty well set on unhealthy foods. For the
Yeah.
weekend.
I think I
Nothing
heard
beats-
the advertising for the state fair said something about like 60 or 80 or
New
new
foods.
foods.
Yeah,
I'm like, how do you come up with new foods?
I don't know.
Did they have that butter on a stick stuff?
I didn't see that. Did see the butter cow though, and I saw the
Never done that.
Caitlin Clark butter sculpture that doesn't look exactly like her, but
Is it like this?
Yeah. It's like walking into Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. Yeah. Doing her thing.
Was she choking?
No, she wasn't.
Yeah. So State Fair is always a good time, and the cookies are that, and like
They're almost gone, Carson.
I find myself every time I go to State Fair, I go to that place, and I get cookies, and then we usually go over by where the slides are, the big huge yellow slide that's got the sacks.
Oh yeah,
Real big one. We usually go over to there, and right there they usually sell watermelon. They cut it right there in
I didn't see that.
the little deal, and we just get fresh watermelon there.
Speaking of watermelons,
Saturday night. Yeah.
Saturday night at Boone.
Watermelon Classic. What's that pay to win? 1,000 to win? Is it 1,000 or what is it?
Something like that. What's it matter?
I don't even know what
You're
it
racing
is.
for watermelons,
Racing
right?
for
Hey,
watermelon.
if anybody wants to find out what it pays to win, go ahead, give Lottie a call and ask what
Yeah,
the first
there
is.
you go. There you go.
Dare ya?
They do have their event flyer up on Facebook. I saw that. So.
Don't know, bud. That's what he'd say. Don't know,
Oh,
bud.
If you want to know the person, that's the only reason you're coming to race here. We don't want you.
He has a point with that statement, and he has a point with the watermelon statement that he made many years ago that kind of grown legs and grown into like more of like a bad way of how he said it, but I don't think it was intended bad, because I still think, and I've said this before in other podcasts, you may not like Lottie, but his perspective is pretty on point a lot of times within the racing industry, and he has been in the industry his whole life, and I'll ask him, he's told me before, all I've ever wanted to do is run Boone Speedway. That's all I've ever wanted to do. I'm happy here, and that's all I ever want to continue to do is run Boone Speedway. He really cares about racing. He genuinely cares about racing and his racers very much so.
Well, it was a couple weeks ago when the World of Outlaws were over there, and he was there even though it wasn't his show. I said, "Do you have any duties tonight, Lottie?" He said, "I'm a race fan tonight." He said, "I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this." He said, he was looking forward to it.
Yeah, he sits on the backstretch in his gator, and I'm like, why are you sitting there? You ain't even behind the fence. But it's where he likes to go.
Who was? Oh, John Logue. Because way back, he got hit with a drive shaft standing about that same place.
Yeah,
many years ago.
Put him in the hospital, actually.
Yeah.
I think it like lacerated his. I don't know if that's the word. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Did something to his liver?
Yeah,
or his,
I think so.
Oof. Hit him so hard. Yeah, it didn't. Lucky it didn't wound him permanently. But
it's you talk about the Lottie's attitude about money and all that, and what it's shown me here in the last couple of days. Last night, I was up at Brit, and I have probably one of the best purses I've seen in a long time. That A-main purse for the modified was over, I think they said $23,000. Seventh place paid $1,000. I mean, it was just incredible. And you had some drivers, I don't know, I'm not going to go over there. I only race for money, but I'm going to turn down the biggest paying show that's in the area. And, I'm like 20 miles away, but I don't know if I can get there. It just blows my mind.
Do they think they can't compete, or do they think do they think it's going to draw in the faster guys and they can't make it, or why do you think
I
they
think
don't?
everybody has different reasons.
Weeknight work. Probably.
I mean, in our world, in some worlds, $20,000+ purses for racing are, much more manageable. In IMCA world, in my opinion, and for most of our weekly racetracks, that volume of money, there's a threshold there that tracks can afford to pay and that they can't afford to pay because it just doesn't pencil out. The economics just aren't there. I mean, this stuff is not terribly complicated. Every racer wants the tracks to pay more, and most tracks want to pay more, but whether or not they can is the issue. And so that deal in Algona, like Jim and I were talking this morning about it. You've got a very, very good sponsor that's given $100 bills to the guy when he draws.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. I wish I would have took my camera out to film it as I sat there. So when drivers walked up to draw, they all
what's
walk up
this?
they all walk up
Money.
with their wallet out, and the gal doing the draw hands him $100 bill.
They're like, wait.
what's this for? You know,
What do I got to do?
well, the sponsor wanted to make sure they gave $100 bill to everybody that's here that draws for the modifieds. And it's like,
And that's cool.
what do you mean?
That's neat.
Well, here's your $100 bill. Well, what do we do with it? Well, you could put it in your pocket. I mean, it was just incredible. You know,
How many mods did they have last night?
40, was it 43?
That's
Shy-
40. That's,
Yeah, a little shy of 50.
43.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
a little shy-
$4,700
little shy
right
of
there.
50, and then a little over
Yeah.
50 in Brit,
That's,
Yeah.
over double than what was there last year.
So that's almost
Yep.
$5,000 just
Harris
in a
Clash the
$100
night
bill.
before had more
Up on
cars
cars.
this year than last year. Spencer got washed out, but I went to Independence on Monday. Monday, Independence raced the same night as Spencer was scheduled to race. So,
They had
and Independence
cars.
had, over 100 cars. And I hadn't been to Independence. I didn't go last year. I usually go there every year. It's not far from here. I feel like I should go, and I didn't go last year. This year I was like, I think I'm going to go. I just like, I think we'll go to Independence on Monday. So I ran up there and talked to Dana, who hasn't been promoting for a few years. He's promoted a
Once in a
lot,
while.
but not, he was out for a few years, and Mike was there running the track, and they run a good show. Things bang off pretty quick, and you don't have a lot of time to talk, or you're going to miss something, but it was I thought the racing was good. I thought the Sport Compact was a last lap pass or close to a last lap pass, and then the stock cars, Tom Schmidt passed
Cole Mather.
Cole Mather, who I'd never met in person.
You never met? He's a football coach now.
I never met him in
he's a
person.
cool
I
kid.
know who he is, and he's like, "Hey, I know you." I go, "Yeah, I've talked to you," and he's like, "Yeah, we've talked on the phone, and we have, not under the best circumstances, but he's got a fast race car." I thought he had.
I think you talked tires with him before, maybe.
Tires, yeah, but he's got a fast race car. He's quick and independent. He's one of those guys. I think there's a couple of there's a handful of stock car guys in Independence, in my opinion, that would be fast anywhere they go. Yeah. Cole is a pretty fast stock car. He came from, I don't know, we're not deep in the field, but he didn't start.
No, he started last. He broke in the heat race.
There you go. He did come from deep in the field and took the lead with like 1 to go, and then Tom Schmidt passed him on the last lap coming out of 4. Which again, I told Tom Schmidt, he's just a fun racer to watch. He's a really good racer.
Yeah, he's been at it a while too.
He said, "I've been doing this for a long time." I said, "Yeah, I know." But he's just a good stock car racer. And then Jared Weepy, I think, who got third. I think he got third.
Third or fourth.
Third or fourth.
He led most of it, I think. He led a lot of it.
He did, and it's funny because every time I go to Independence, Weepy says to me, "Oh, thanks for coming," because every time I'm there, he wins.
Weepy?
Yes. And last night, after the feature, I was like, "What happened?" He goes, "I told my son when I saw you pull into the pits, Brett's here."
I mean, we're going to win tonight. Huh?
And he led like 18 or 17 of the 20 laps or something like that. But Independence has always had a really good crop of very good IMCA stock car racers. Back to Brian Irvine and
Sean Johnson used to be good. Dan Trimble was. He's won more there
there's a
than
lot
anybody.
of them. For people who know Independence history and at least Eastern Iowa stock car racing, there's a bunch of guys that have called Independence home that are pretty good. So, but that was good. I thought Independence had a good night. I was there on Monday.
Cool. And Dana, he said something to me years ago that I'll never forget. You're talking about purses earlier. A modified driver years ago was complaining that the purses should have been increased. And Dana said, "Well, so what do you say I give everybody $10 more?" The guy said, "Well, that's a start." He said, "Okay, $10 times 100 cars in the pits, that's $1,000. Where are you going to help me come up with that?" He said, "Every little increase turns into a big increase when you want to make it across the board."
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just economics. And some racetracks are fortunate to have a maybe more community support or even more of a fan base. We have racetracks that struggle to get crowds, struggle to get cars, and racetracks that don't struggle to get cars and don't struggle to get crowds. So the economics from facilities is different to different. No two facilities are identical. We know that. I mean, look at Boone compared to Webster City. 172 cars in Boone, 50 in Webster.
That's still
Same
a thing?
night.
Webster City's still a thing?
It was. Not anymore. But whatever. But I mean, you've got situations like that everywhere, and some are sanctioned, some aren't sanctioned. So I don't want to always pick on the non-sanctioned stuff, but it's kind of fun too when it's easy.
It's more fun.
Yeah. So
throw a dart and pick one.
Trying to be kinder in my older age.
Don't worry, I'm sure Jim will pick up your slack.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jim.
yeah.
Yeah. Jim, like, whoa.
I think I get crankier as I get older.
Yeah, that's no lie. Yeah.
So anyhow, any more stuff on? We any more comments on the racing we've seen in the last
Well,
few
but
weeks?
I just really wanted to once again thank it was the Larry Eber Sr. race last night. I think they called it the Fair Street.
Fair Street, yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
there it is,
Street
Fair Street
Face-Off.
Face Off. And I guess I don't know if that used to be the name of the track in Algona. I know it's on Fair Street, but I mean it was just incredible for them to go out there, raise that money to honor their dad.
Awesome.
And once again, the racers won. It was a great show.
Awesome.
The night before we were at Britt, and once again Trent did just a fantastic job. He worked his ass off on that track. I mean, he was out in water trucks between races. I mean, just doing whatever it took to give them a good track for that feature. And when you're 3 laps to go in the mod feature after 50 laps, and you're slide jobbing for the lead every lap, you hit it. You hit the track. And, once again, it was a hell of a show. Jerry Flippo probably wasn't the odds-on favorite to win that.
California transplant.
Yeah, that's right. Had a hell of a race, and it was a very, very good show.
He's been quick.
He has.
He's only one of
Yeah.
the few, but he's been very quick over here since he came to the Midwest.
Well, he was quick at Supernationals the last.
Well, he was
few
the
years.
was he the All-Star race
Yep.
winner or the race?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in victory lane at Boone, so during Supernationals, so you're not struggling if you're doing that. But
He even had a good night at Deer Creek,
he
too.
looked great.
yeah, it's to me it always gets back to like where I began when I went down to Texas, and then I go to Independence 10 days later or whatever it was, and there's Texas guys in the pits, Dan Day, obviously
Matthew.
John Webb from Oklahoma was there Monday, and Matthew Day was there, and
I
Matthew
think
Day was in,
Mason was there.
Mason was as well.
there too.
Yeah, they're all three were there. But Matthew was in the top 4. He come to Independence. I don't know if he ever raced there before,
I don't think they'd been there before.
but he was in the top 4. And I went out to last time I went out to Vinton here 3 or 4 weeks ago. I can't remember what it was. DeVilbiss won. I mean, Shane,
And he'd never been here before.
he'd never been to Vinton, and he ran down Cordis, who has the most mod
Right.
wins in the Speedway
Vinton.
history.
Yep.
And DeVilbiss ran him down and passed him, and so I don't know. I those are the things that are cool to me in IMCA racing is when guys are crossing multiple state lines or relocating or doing all kinds of stuff like that. Again, people always say, "Oh, who's the best racer in the country?" or what's the best track or where's the best racing at? And you just see examples of it everywhere you go. That you could say, "Well, that place is, and that place is, and that place is." There's just a lot of talented guys racing laps and gals racing in IMCA. In fact, when I went to Boone, did we talk about this last podcast?
Oh,
I think
the Sport Mod feature.
3 of the top 4 when I was in Boone last time.
Jocelyn Elmquist won the Sport Mod feature. Summer Anderson got second. And then Taylor Cool got fourth.
Right, 3 of the top 4 were women at Boone, which is
That's crazy.
And I think
it's crazy.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Taylor was battling Jackson Harpole for third, almost had it, and Jocelyn Elmquist and Summer Anderson, they were checked out. There was nobody going to touch them, so it wasn't like they lucked into it either. They dominated that race.
Yeah. I mean, there's just really cool stories all over IMCA racing. I wish we could tell them all.
Right.
Oh, I mean, this week up north there, northern Iowa, with Deer Creek and Britt and Algona and Britt. I mean, it's Joey Price. Shows
He's
up.
Elvis,
Yeah.
right? Is that the Elvis guy?
No.
That's,
Joey's the ex-MMA fighter.
You're thinking
Yeah.
of
Who's the other one? Joey.
God, who was Elvis? The Elvis impersonator from
That's
Vegas.
who I thought it was.
No.
Shows you what I know.
I'm going to figure it out.
Joey's from out there in Montana.
Yeah.
He got to spend some time with me when I was out there.
Well, sorry,
He
Joey
said he-
Price.
he
I
said
thought you
he's
were
almost
Elvis.
over
but
that
not.
too. He said he's almost over that. Couple more sessions of counseling and he'll be over.
Wow.
Jim,
You
you're trying to
take
be
a lot of
kinder.
shit sitting in that.
I know
sitting
I
in that
do.
chair.
Trying to be kinder, Jim. Kinder and gentler. So anyway, what about Supernationals? You want to talk about Supernationals?
I think we better.
Are we
have a
going
lot.
to do
Probably
that
should.
again this year?
I think we're going to have a race in Boone in September.
Shoot. I hope we get enough cars for a B feature.
We're going to try to move this podcast along so we ain't talking about
I'm still looking for Joey from
for
Las
much
Vegas.
more. We don't want to go over 60 minutes. We promise. So if you're 24 minutes into this podcast, we promise we'll go as quickly as we can through some of the Supernational stuff. Some of it's important. Some of it's just cool. Ryan's got a lot of the stats on the pre-entries. What do we have, about 800 now?
I'm busy looking up Vegas Joey. I want to find out. I want to find out who Elvis is.
I think he is. But I got one of the Supernationals trophies. I think this is one of the qualifier trophies I got in front of me.
That's your modified qualifier.
The mod one. Yeah, we've been doing the miniature helmets for quite a few years now. It's just, to me, it's kind of been like, it's like getting milk when you win the Indy 500. You know, these are the only trophies that we do like this is for Supernationals. We also did a set of these for the Southern Sport Mod Supernationals down at KSP. I took them down there when I went down a couple weeks ago, but just kind of a look that we fell on with our trophies, and we just kind of stuck with it.
Well, if Jerry was in the studio, we could have him try that on.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit.
Try on what? The helmet?
The dogs might be able to get it on. Wouldn't that be fun? Put the helmets on the dog. And I also brought a Race of Champions trophy. Let's slide that over.
Yeah, the new Race of Champions Rage chassis.
Yeah, Justin
modifieds.
Yep, Justin at Rage come on board with us, and arguably building probably more modifieds than anybody in the country. And we had a race up at West Union that Justin was involved in, because these West Union.
Once again, would we have 35 cars up there?
I thought it was like 38 I was almost 40. I was like 38 or 39.
It was close to 40.
God, I'm trying to think. There was
way more than last year. It was
Joey Franklin.
Joey Franklin, that's him. Sideburns.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I didn't want to lose it.
I'm trying to think. When I was up at West Union, we followed a race about a month before that paid, I think, $10,000 to win. And you know what that got you? About 12 less cars.
Here we go.
Where's your sound machine? I need
a
a rip shot.
I don't know if I got it turned on. I don't use it much.
Yeah.
You're going to lose the effect.
So
Yeah.
I'll get it going.
We're going to have
Talk about something.
Jim repeat. You were talking about car counts at Supernationals, and registrations continue to come in on a regular basis. We're just kind of waiting for it to kind of die out a little bit, but that just doesn't seem to be the case.
Which is a good thing.
It is. Last year on this Friday, we had 673 drivers registered. We're currently at 789, so we're 116 drivers ahead of where we were on this Friday 1 year ago. And, mods are right at the 220 mark where they were last year on this date. Stock cars are 37 ahead of where they were.
Uh-oh.
Hobby stocks are 37 ahead.
Uh-oh.
Sport mods are 18 ahead. We've nearly doubled the number of Mod Light registrations from 26 to 51. So numbers are looking good.
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
Can we have like a telethon to, even though this is a taped broadcast, maybe we ought to have like a telethon to get us to that next platform, kind of like Jerry Lewis.
Do the timpani roll, throw it over to Ed McMahon.
Yeah, I mean, things are surely shaping up to be enough race cars at Boone for a race. What, almost 800 right now.
I think we're going to have to run a B.
We're going to have to
Oh,
run
we
a
can
B.
squeeze them. We can squeeze them in.
And just a couple quick things about that. Again, you get back to purse. People are like, I don't know if we've even published. We might have published a purse for the Supernationals this year. I don't know if we have. It hasn't changed much from last year, but it has. Carson's been burning the midnight oil with some of our sponsors, and again, we're fortunate, kind of like Algona and Britt and some of these other, most of our facilities. We have very loyal sponsors as well on IMCA that are constantly pushing money into our events. But Supernationals is one that gets the most attention. Carson and I were just talking today. Gary at Mach 1 has added some money to the. What the heck? Who sent that?
Your wife.
Oh, good Lord! Just a spider. It ain't gonna eat much. Gary at Mach 1 has pumped in some more money to our Sport Compact feature, so we're going to have our Sport Compact A main on Tuesday is going to pay $1,250 to win, and we've spread the rest of the money down through 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 seventh. So it's
right.
bumped the start money up, the winner's money up a little, and then start money up. But then he also did some other things too.
The heat race winners and B feature winners will get $50.
Yep.
That'll be sent out. Longest tow, that'll be sent out as well. So, we're not going to have all that money right there at the pay window. So if drivers do win a heat race,
Just get a check from us.
we'll get a check to you.
Yeah, some of that stuff we roll into contingencies because it's just
Yep.
easier versus trying to deal with getting the purse at keeping it all straight at the Supernationals. When you win a heat race, it's hard to pay them $50 there.
Right.
It can be done, but it just adds to all the other stuff that's going on. So it's easier on some of these things. We're just going to send checks out to people.
Yep. Yeah, but he added $1,500 total.
Yep.
Just happened kind of out of the blue. It's pretty cool.
Just random. Gary's a good guy.
Yeah, he loves the sport compacts too.
Where's he from?
Texas.
Yeah, see,
Yes.
another Texas person in IMCA racing.
Yes.
He's a good dude.
Yep.
He's been on our sport compact program almost from its inception, I believe.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but yeah, awesome to have Gary pump some money into our compact division. Again, we're already doing well on entries. So what did we have last year? Like
for what?
80 of them?
For actual event?
Yeah, it was quite a few. Wasn't 100 yet, but it was 80.
We had 91 sport compacts.
Yes, it
I
had
was
to
low.
be had to be over 90.
Close to 100. Interesting. Yeah, she thinks I'm going to come get a spider at the house. I'm not.
I've already shown. I
Well,
showed
Casey
him the
wanted
Snapchat.
Casey asked me if she could ask the police that sit outside our house to come kill a bug for her when I was down here this week.
My
so.
wife just texted me, brown recluse in the bedroom, help. It's going to come in the bed.
Well, then get up. Get out of bed. What's she doing in bed at
I
noon
might
anyway?
just step on it for crying out loud. Send the dog in there. He'll eat it. But whatever.
And then Friesen Performance stepped up.
Back to Supernationals.
Yeah, Friesen Performance stepped up for Monday night, added $2,500 into the purse for the late models. So, bumped up pretty much second through 24th, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's our late model feature will pay what it has in the past, $3,000 to win. It's paid $300 to start, but we're going to put that $2,500 in second through 24th, so it'll pay $400 to start the late model A main. We added $100 to every starting position and $200 to second and $200 to third to get us to $2,500. So we got to thank Al and everyone at Friesen Chevrolet for
and not only
putting
that,
money in our late model program.
he's putting up $63,000 in contingency awards throughout the week for 604 and 602 drivers.
That's a lot of money. Man, that's
It
a
is.
lot.
He's really stepping up they're doing a lot of discounts off crate engines, which is helpful, I think, and obviously
And free shipping right now on crates through the end of the year.
yeah. I mean, all that stuff is pretty cool. So if you're going to need a crate after Supernationals, obviously Friesen's going to give you an opportunity to win some contingencies at Boone that are going to count, save you a little Christmas money, I suppose.
Yep.
Brett, check your phone real quick.
I did. I figured out what you're talking about now. It took me a second. Yeah, they also Jim just sent me the.
Well, this is a legit thing, right?
What?
This isn't a spider text. This is something
No,
else.
this isn't
right?
a picture of a brown recluse. Jim just sent me the long range forecast, which is actually looking really good. So, typical Boone weather that time of year as far as temperatures go. So,
What are they talking like 80s during the day?
80s during the day. Warm enough for shorts and tank tops and stuff like that, and then it cools down in the evening to a reasonable temperature, not freezing by any means, but
So it sounds
cool.
perfect.
Yeah, hoodie weather is what I call it.
And if you happen to hear like sirens or anything going off, don't worry. It's not
It's
an
going to my
emergency. Your wife is going to call the fire
your
department to kill the spiders. So
I mean,
she never the whole time that
Just
you had the fireworks thing, and I went to your house and killed
Yeah.
the spider. I've never even told her the truth about that.
yeah,
About
it was a lot of baby wolf spiders on the
yeah,
back of
there were
a
hundreds of them, and
But we killed them all.
She didn't. Yeah, we killed them all.
Oh, well. Yeah, we also have other things, too, with back to some of the purse editions at Supernationals, Carson. Touch on, like, VIP Medical and Quick Performance and Saints Cafe. And
Yeah, VIP Medical, $100 to each modified qualifying feature winner. Quick Performance, $100 to each qualifying winner, qualifying feature winner in stock cars,
Hobbies.
and
Sport mods.
mods.
Yeah.
Saints Cafe does a last man to the table type deal.
Yeah.
Final qualifier in the mods and sport mods, I believe.
$250.
$250
So
to
the
each
guy
one
who
of those.
qualifies 33rd and
Yep.
30, right?
30.
Yep.
We start
Oh, the
30
last
in the
man,
sport mods.
33rd.
Yep.
and
Last
30.
man. Yep. And
Which is
then
cool.
you got
Again, just
right.
extra money, stuff like that. Are those being paid at the event, or are we sending checks for that stuff too?
last year we sent checks
Okay.
for that stuff.
Just
It's
those
easier for
four.
us to track it. So yeah,
See, just those 4 things you
Yep.
listed, like $2,500. Boom, right there. Those,
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
quite a
well,
bit.
and then
That
you
adds
got
up.
Jurgens putting up $250 to the first non-qualifier.
Mike Jurgens?
Yeah.
Is he going to do the chalk machine this year? He wants to.
He says he wants to. Jurgen's got a Napa
Yeah, he's switching the store over to
franchise.
Napa. So
Yeah, he was at something else. I don't know what it was, but he's on a Napa franchise now. So
yep.
Hopefully he's too busy to come to Supernationals.
Oh, no, he'll
that
be
dude's a
there.
lot of
Last-
work.
He came
He's a
last
lot of
year.
work.
Yeah, he's high strung. He's drank too many Rockstar 300 milligram caffeine things like this.
I do want to thank you, though, Carson.
Daily.
Yep.
He's been working his ass off to
He
give
has.
Jerry more to talk about during the broadcast, talk
Yeah.
about these sponsors. I was worried Jerry wouldn't have enough to talk about
There's
Really?
during the races. So
Really?
thank you for
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you for bringing more to the table. Appreciate that.
But then you got things like Casey's gift cards still for every heat race winner, Speedway gift cards for every heat
Yeah.
race winner.
We're still doing all the
You know,
awesome stuff.
Manufacturers row is as full as it has ever been.
We spilled
I
out
think
over into the North Pit area with
by, what,
Manufacturers Row.
5 spots,
Yeah.
6 spots.
So all the way to for those that are familiar with the tech area and the facility, the
Well,
billboard.
that's going to be
Yep.
It's all Manufacturers Row out to the billboard now. We're running
Yep.
out of racer
Nice.
pit stalls, Manufacturers Row. It's nice to have some of those sponsors.
Yep.
Some that haven't been there ever, some that have been, every now and then, but then we have the
And then a
the
lot,
ones that are there.
dropped off at COVID and haven't been
Annually.
back since.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So everything's really kind of shaping up in a positive way.
yep.
It's hate to make assumptions, but
Right.
again, with our entries and our Manufacturers Row full, our pit stalls are essentially all spoken for at this point in time. If you're looking for a pit stall, a reserve stall at Boone, you can still reach out to Belinda. Her number's on our website. Reach out to Belinda, and she'll get you on a list just in case. But again, we're 800. We're 200 shy of what we had last year at the event. So there's still going to be people coming and looking for pit stalls.
Yep.
Don't let that discourage you. We still have room for everybody. We have our overflow
Absolutely.
area out to the south field, we call it, that we've got reserved a little bit better for race cars this year.
Some people like that better out anyway because you're out
quieter.
of the, it is quieter and you're out of the
Well,
commotion.
Last year being my first year, I got lost trying to get back to the
You didn't know where you were.
trying to get back to the office building, and all of a sudden I'm out there in overflow, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. Everybody's out there, like sport compact drivers out there hanging out, and
Yep.
having barbecues.
Carson wasn't
and
used to being events like that with
There's
that
too.
many
There's so
cars.
many people.
It's kind of a new deal for him.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Back to Jim's comment.
Oh yeah.
There
But then
we
you got
go.
a ton of
That's
lap
why I love
sponsors
you,
again.
Jim.
So
Keep me on my toes, and you make me laugh.
It's kind of like the 100, but with cars.
Ouch. But anyway,
well, if I
yeah,
go missing in St. Cloud, just call Jim.
But yeah, back to the lay of land. The pit area is not going to look much different this year than last year. We have added an extra, I don't know how many, an extra row of power and water stalls in the pits, enough that our generator handles. We don't have permanent power service to supply power to those areas, so we actually have to rent a big giant Cummins diesel generator for the week, and it'll only handle so many. So it's going to be at capacity this year.
Yep.
But those VIP, what I call the VIP, and what we list as the VIP pit stalls in the south of the racetrack now, didn't exist a couple years ago, and now I think there's, I don't know how many of them there is, not 100 of them, but close.
Yep.
That all have
VIP.
power and water that sell out in less than 24 hours. They get spoken for really quick.
Yep.
You know what else is new in the pits for this year? Dan Ratajczak's got new speakers.
Oh, for the stage?
Yes.
Great.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, if you're pitted,
Louder.
I had to help dress him last year. I had to go back to his camper and help him get his costume on.
if you're pitted in
Boy.
and around the registration tent, we call it, in the middle of the pit area, we're going to apologize if it's a little loud in the evening, but that's just kind of where that
Yeah, but some
area
people call
has
it the
found-
some
found a
people call it
home.
the best seat in the house.
It's kind of found a home. What's nice about that area is
Man.
it's centrally located. People can come in from the campgrounds, and people come from North Pitt, and we'll have
Jimmy
Cody
Cole
Hicks.
comes from Sioux City.
We-
I'm
we
having,
have-
I'm having
we-
flashbacks from last year all of a sudden.
We actually have Cody Hicks scheduled again for another 2 nights. I have a hard time. People say, "Oh, if we're going to try to find somebody else," we've done. Cody Hicks has come to the Supernationals for so many years. He's down now. He's coming 2 days, and I'll reach out to him like January. I'll be like, "Hey, what are you thinking for this year?" And he's like, "We just have so much fun. We'd love to come back if you'll have us." And so it's hard for me to tell him no because
Right.
that people like him, and he does a good job. And last year we raced way late with the Prelude, and if we'd have had some sort of a, what do they call those things that bands have, like the contract,
Type of
Right.
clause
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
like the 90-minute play time,
Yeah.
75-minute.
Yeah, it gets real stuffy when it gets corporate, and
Oh, yeah.
and all those what they call it, like a clause, they call it like a riser or rider,
Rider.
like an event writer for a concert.
Yep.
He doesn't have one, and I said to him last year, I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm so sorry that we're running late, but we had just a shitload of cars and too much racing and not enough time for the band." And he's like, "We came, we'll play whenever you're done racing." And
Yep.
he stayed, and I think they
It
started
was
playing at like
late. It was
12:30
late.
at night or something.
Yeah.
Which if he had had a normal band, they would have went home.
Oh, they would have been packed up.
So that's
Right.
what I like about having Cody Hicks, because he's kind of one of us, in my opinion. He's got a good song that we've all kind of liked for years, and he just fits well in the Supernational scheme of things. So,
Yep.
but that's what I control on the stage. After Cody Hicks gets off that stage, I have no part of anything else. So I'll put that on the record.
And
right
neither
now.
does IMCA.
Nate's over there laughing.
I go over and take part in it, but I'm not there to represent IMCA
I go
on
to
the stage.
bed. I go to bed. So
There was a young lady from Sioux City last year that she approached me up on the stage and asked me what I was doing, and I said, "Not you." It did not. She was rather persistent. Jim should have been there that night. That was entertaining.
Oh no, I was in bed.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, what else? Anything?
I didn't even.
Oh,
I
we have
didn't
a
even
ton
know
of
There
updates.
was a stage.
Oh, you didn't even know that was there. Huh?
Yeah.
No.
Victory Lane is moving.
Yeah,
Victory Lane is moving.
Nate's
Victory
talking
Lane
to
is
us.
officially moving.
We are moving Victory
Where's
Lane
that going?
to the fan zone.
Oh,
Our
we are gonna
final
do it
big
out there.
dance
Like we did
feature
last
winners are going to be
Oh, in the fans.
for all divisions now. Are going to
But
be in the fan
during
zone.
the heat races and stuff during the
All
week
in the
qualifying, that'll stay in the.
qualifying features and heat race winners are going to go to the infield, but we're replacing the infield stage with the jumbotron on both sides, so people on the back stretch and on the front stretch
On Saturday?
on the whole week. So we'll have 2 jumbotrons in the infield for people to watch. So the races will be broadcast on the jumbotrons in the infield.
Where are they going to be?
They're going to replace where that stage
Where the
is at.
stage was.
Yep.
So there won't be a stage in the infield at all anymore.
No, that we're
Well, the
pulling that
little
out.
one for the car to go up
The
on.
little one, yeah.
The little one will
car.
still
Yeah.
be there.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll tuck the jumbotrons on the back side of that,
Nice.
Yep.
so it's somewhat.
So you won't bring up the big thing anymore then? The big
No.
No,
stage.
No.
the fold-up stage is not going to be usable this year. We're going to have a permanent. We're going to use the fan zone as a permanent location. For
So
our
will
big
we
dance
do like
winners.
the all-star photos and stuff over in that?
Yeah,
or where
I
we-
would prefer to do some of that stuff in the fan zone if we can. It just
I
kind of
think we
depends.
did it last year.
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yep.
It's
Napa
weird.
fan zone
Weather
had
directs
everything.
and changes so much. I can't remember from year to year where
Exactly,
stuff
and
goes.
we're like, at times we're like, we don't want to put it up there, and then it rains,
And it works
Yep.
so well.
and it works so well, and it's like these are like signs. Maybe we should just make these changes. So we're making that change, which is good.
Yep.
Speedway Motors involved in Manufacturers Row this year.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Which is good. We didn't talk about that a little bit. Speedway's kind of stepped up their program. Hoosier Tire Midwest will be servicing the event this year for the first time in
Right.
event history. So Hoosier Midwest will be there with the Hoosier trailer. They'll be mounting and dismounting tires. They won't be siping and grooving. We'll still have Carl's and Motorsports Warehouse and Finish Line and some of our vendors
Yep.
on Manufacturers Row that are going to provide siping and I think maybe grooving services. I don't know.
Yep.
But all the tires are going to go through Midwest, Hoosier Midwest, and
Yep.
there'll be the big purple Hoosier trailer. You won't be able to miss it, I don't think.
That's the way
Well,
most
probably
big
not.
events do it.
Yeah, it's cool to have Midwest come, Hoosier
Yep.
Midwest come. Nate.
Well, and then you got
all those
Napa,
guys.
For the fan zone,
Yep.
giving out vouchers again. Stop into a Napa store.
Discount tickets.
Yep, for Friday discount tickets.
Yep.
And win prizes by
Yep.
getting those tickets. You can win a prize from Napa.
Yeah, Napa's
So-
really stepping up their program too. They're going to help out a little bit more in the fan zone, I think, and I think they're getting a little bit more active with their stores.
I think last year they were more.
And when you got
it was their-
Juergens involved, I mean, what do you expect?
Right.
Right.
I think Napa last year was their first go around, so they didn't really know what to expect, did they? But now they've got
Right.
a handle on what's.
They'll have
what
some
we do.
giveaways down there in the fan zone during like autograph sessions and stuff
gonna-
like that.
Yeah, Jerry will be down to sign autographs, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes, he
boy.
will.
I'm not giving him a Sharpie.
Yeah,
You don't think he
it's nice.
carries his own, really?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's nice to have Casey's. It's nice to have Napa and the stuff they do directly for the racers and the active participation they take at the event and things
Yep.
like that. You know, Hope for the Warriors.
Hope for the Warriors.
We along with Casey's donate $5,000 to the Hope for the Warriors.
Yep.
Every year as a part of as a part of the Supernationals. So we try to do there's a lot of really cool things, a lot of really good things going on at Supernationals that at times probably maybe get lost with we got 1,000 race cars.
And there's damn good racing, too.
Yeah, you got that
Right.
that too. It's a big party. It's gonna everybody who comes seems to be there to have a good time, and we do our best to accommodate everybody that we can control.
And I got new cabinets in my
You did?
contingency trailer.
Yeah.
So that's
In your
great.
cabinet.
Carson
Oh,
Yes.
that's right. You were building cabinets.
Jazzing
Yeah.
that thing up.
Oh man, it's gonna be so nice.
Speaking
Carson
of
is
Jerry
like way
Sharpies,
organized, so I better have a place where he can be
That's
organized.
why we like him. That's why
I,
we
it
like him.
is. He's like super
You know,
organized, which is
Last
helpful.
time I saw Jerry, he had 5 Sharpies with him, one for every radio.
One for every radio. I'm sure they were different colors, too, depending on the fabric he was signing. Right?
Yes.
Nice.
You're also
So-
going to Angel Park, aren't you?
I'm going to Angel Park
You're
on
going to Angel
Sunday.
Park.
Why,
That's
you
it.
want to go?
No, it just
You
hit
ride
me.
with?
I don't know. I've got to be out here. I got the Bald Tire
find
Bash
somebody
on
else.
Sunday.
Yeah.
You can find somebody else to
Jerry's
announce out
going to
here.
be there.
Jerry's
Have
gonna be
Jerry
be
announce
there.
here.
Yeah, but I'm weekly out here. I don't want
So
to.
what? Angel Park
That would be cool.
is
though.
going to be pretty unique.
That's going to be
It's
neat.
not known for running IMCA modifieds, obviously. So
Never.
I've
First
never-
time ever
I've
in
never
the
been there.
history of the universe.
it's flat.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique facility. We drive by it. Like if you're driving from here up to 141, you drive right
you
past
by
it.
Yep.
So I'm going to go up on Sunday and attempt to help run the modified portion of that event. So if
You're going to run it? Yeah, I'm not going then. I don't,
anybody
I
gets-
don't want to be part of that.
if anybody doesn't like the guy on the receiver, call Ryan.
They do anyway. They do.
Well,
No, but I'm looking forward to going up and seeing Greg at Angel Park. That's going to be pretty cool, I think.
yeah.
Back to
Midgets at Angel Park.
Yeah. Back to Supernationals real quick. Again, we touched on the added purse to the compacts, added purse to the late models. We did add purse money last year. It's kind of interesting because we added purse money late to the Supernationals last year to the first through fourth, I think, if I remember correctly. And it wasn't actually published. It was we published the old amounts
Yep.
and added it. And then I remember we posted a check, I think, a Tom Berry winning like $7,500 for the mods, and somebody said something like that, Ray should pay more, and I just kind of chuckled. It doesn't matter really what we pay. It seems to be somebody's always critical of it.
Yep.
But this year the mods, just like last year, pays $10,000 to win, $7,500 to win the stock cars, $5,000 to win the sport mods, and $3,000 to win the hobbies. Mod lights are $2,000 for their 2-day show. So it's got some pretty stout purses in each division. Mod purse alone is $53,000 for the A main. It's pretty big. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, in mod racing.
Yep.
At least in IMCA mod racing for sure, where there's a bunch of cars. The one thing that Jim and I have talked a little bit about this is how many stock cars we got entered?
Let me look here.
A lot.
223.
How many mods?
218.
Uh-oh.
This is the year, I think, maybe.
We've got more stock cars
Right now, for
entered
now.
Right
than
now.
modifieds right now.
Yeah.
So if we have more stock cars than modifieds at the event, can I pay more? Can I pay more, Jim?
Well, I don't know. The problem if you bump it up to 10, you might only have 13.
Pay more for the stock cars, you mean?
Wrong sanction.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works.
Shit. I walked into that one. No, but I think, why not pay $10,000 to win stock cars?
Let's vote on it.
Yeah. I don't have voting. I don't have voting cards ready.
Call Lottie and ask him.
But if you need to know what the purse is,
don't know,
we don't
bud.
want you here.
Yeah, I know. Again, back to the way some of this podcast started with the purse. Is it necessary to pay more? No, but to a certain extent, you know, I don't know. Maybe I fall into the trap that some of the promoters fall into a little bit, you know, where money isn't terribly, terribly important, but it does matter, and there's a difference, you know, because we haven't published much of this, and we got 223 stock cars. The bottom line is winning a Supernationals is in any of our divisions is a career accomplishment for anybody. And if you're winning any race with 200 plus race cars, you've got a lot to hang your hat on. I'll just put it that way.
Well, even going to Supernationals, like my first year last year, even watching the heat races, you'd swear the heat races paid $10,000. They're so competitive. The
You can
entire
talk to
week.
them down on the stage when they
You know.
win, and they'll compare it to a feature back home.
Right.
Winning a heat race.
Yeah.
So it's
I don't
really
know.
cool.
I think we'll probably adjust some of these purses a little bit. At least the stock car purse, more than likely, is the one that probably is on my radar a little bit. You know, I don't know if we need to necessarily publish that. You know, but if there's more stock cars than there are modifieds, the stock car purse, the stock car A main feature winner, the big dance. Sorry, I get confused. Instead of 7,500, it'll probably go to $10,000. Whether or not we'll announce that ahead of time, I don't know. But it just kind of depends on what the car count does.
We just did.
The other thing we could do is maybe bump up the start money a little bit too for stock cars. But you know, you got sport mods that also are pulling in some pretty big numbers. You got hobby stocks that are pulling in some
Everything's
big numbers.
ahead.
Now
Sport.
you got mod lights that are
Then you got sport compacts.
and compacts. You know,
Numbers growing all the time.
Speaking of sport compacts, Ryan, is there any truth that Ricky Thornton Jr. in a sport compact this year?
Well, you know, I posted the other day that once I got the next registration, we'd be at 750, and Ricky replied, "I'm on it." So I messaged him and said, "Yeah, that's not going to happen." He said, "Well, you never know. You know what the weather might do." He said he really wants to come over. He really wants to race Boone, but you know he's got other obligations, and if he has an opportunity, then I'm sure he would. But not in a sport compact, Jim. I'm sorry.
He did it that one year.
He did do it one
He
year.
rained out Saturday at the World 100.
Yep.
came
and
over.
he come over. And
I asked him one time, I'm like, dude, what are you doing in Boone? And he was there. It was just a weekly show, if I remember correctly. And he's like, you know, my wife and her family are all from this area, and they just like coming here, and we all like coming here. So
I talked to him after that World of Outlaws race over there that last week ago Tuesday, and he said of all the races that he's won and wanted to win in a late model, he said he really wanted to win over at Boone. And I said, I would have
second.
Yeah, and I said I would imagine
Pierce won that race last year too.
Yeah, I would imagine. 90% of the people in attendance wanted to see him win. I mean, they have a history with him, so they're kind of everyone sees like they're part of his racing career. So,
you know,
kind of a neat
Ricky's
story.
won how many modified big dances?
Couple.
The
Modified?
I think he's won it once, didn't he?
He's
No,
won
I
what?
think he's won it.
Is he a repeat
at
guy?
least twice?
Yeah, he's won it twice. He's
I
won the
think
late model
It
too.
wasn't back to back though, like strictly.
Yeah,
one
so-
of those guys.
You know, once again,
But-
so 250 some odd modifieds, and you know, it's kind of like what he did a couple weeks ago in Norfolk, Nebraska.
Kind of.
Without the cars.
Yeah, Ricky won the mods in 2016 and 2020.
Poke.
16 in 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he has won it twice.
he also won late models.
He did.
And this year you can add sport compacts to the list.
Yeah,
Compacts. I don't know. I don't know if we'll get
I
Ricky
don't
in a
think he'd
compact.
be eligible.
the
Would we
thing
let
I-
him?
Probably
Probably not.
No.
The thing that I
Let me call down to Texas and find out
gosh.
if we allow that.
the
Hey,
thing
Texas
that I
friends,
find
please.
interesting right now, and again, this kind of does get back a little bit to IMCA. It doesn't have a lot to do with IMCA, but it does, and that is Ricky. You know, I mean, there's you got probably right now the hottest dirt late model racer in the United States, probably one of the most talented racers in general in the United States, turning laps in he happens to be in a late model right now and winning shitloads of money, which is good for him. It's awesome. But he also came out of IMCA. You know, I mean,
I believe Shannon Rush told me the other night that he's won over 600,000 so far this year.
and he deserves it. That's awesome. That's awesome to see him have that much success, because he really is kind of a very humble, genuine person. I mean, he's easy to talk to. He'll send you text messages. He replies if you send him one. I mean, I think he generally appreciates his fans. You don't see him shitting on racetracks that much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, you see some people that have some success and they start becoming critical of everybody else. Like the reason why they don't win is somebody else's fault, the racetrack or an official or whoever it may be. And Ricky you don't see a lot of that out of him. And I don't know if he's got somebody telling him not to do that stuff or if I think he's just
I think it's
savvy
just
enough.
his personality.
I think he's just
I
savvy
do
enough
too.
to say, that he understands the big picture. And I hate it when I see racers, we all have moments of weakness, but I hate when I see racers that have a lot of success start acting like racing is completely about them.
Yeah.
When it's, they're a part of it.
And
sometimes a big part
former
of it.
racers do that
I
a lot too.
I haven't
Yeah.
really seen a whole lot of that.
Yeah, you have. And
Oh, okay.
what, today?
Yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. We all know who those guys are, and I just don't think they do.
So does everybody else.
Right, and I just don't think it does their racing careers. It doesn't do them personally.
Absolutely.
Any good. I mean,
There's enough negativity on social media. Why add to it?
there really
You
is.
know,
Some people think some of that stuff is cool, and obviously the negativity to a certain extent fuels a little bit of attention, I think. But in a race in an industry that's this niche, in my opinion, that is small, you can't burn your bridge at every racetrack you go to and every sanction you go to, because if you do, you're going to run out of places to go. Unless you're going to go to the Cup or something like that,
Or open your own racetrack.
or open your own track.
Right.
But the people that are going to Cup generally aren't that like that either. I mean, those Cup guys all make mistakes too, but they punish them hard there.
Oh, yeah.
In our world, people think it's kind of cool that if a guy shits all over a racetrack, that track deserves it. Put a pile of crap in a box on their Facebook page. And it's all fun and games until that track that's a pile of shit in a box or a hole doesn't want you to come back, and that stuff does happen.
Well,
Or they have
We've
enough
talked
and they
about
just
this.
close the doors.
Yeah.
we've talked about this. When was the last time any of us have gone to a track and the promoter says, "Man, I did whatever I could to make this a shit racetrack"? Never.
How many?
Ever, ever, ever.
Most
And,
all have good intentions, all of us across the board.
And so much of what goes on with track prep is out of their control.
Right.
You got humidity, you got a rain shower that might pop up, you got cloud cover that pops up.
Equipment that breaks. I mean, there's all kinds of
Correct.
crazy stuff.
And they
There's
are
all
not
kinds of stuff
out there
behind the
to
scenes you hear about.
intentionally put a shitty track out there.
Oh, shit, the water pump in the water truck went out.
Yep.
Today at 4, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how you watering a track? Well, I mean, every
crazy,
facility has those moments,
Yep.
But
We even have them
we
at
got-
Boone, when the tractor
yeah.
blows up, or, I mean, there's just all kinds of weird
we got
things.
people that are going to sit home and watch hot laps and automatically be able to sit wherever far away and know that this track's going to be a piece of shit.
Isn't that how it
It
works?
just
Yeah.
it just kills me.
At Supernationals, obviously we had the jet dryer. We've had it for, I don't know, 25 years, 20 years, whatever it is, a long time. For many years, it was sitting down in the back building with a blowed-up engine. They blew it up the week before. Usually they get it running the week before, and they blew it up and didn't have a spare engine for it. It's not like you can just go get a jet engine laying around down the street.
Facebook Marketplace.
Everybody's got them for sale. What are you talking
Yeah, hey,
He got him.
I need a Chinook
down by
helicopter
Yuma.
jet engine. You got one? Yeah, right over here.
I remember
But-
the first time Lottie fired that deal up when he put it together way back when. About killed himself.
Exactly. We wearing a helmet. It's crazy. But yeah, for years we went without the jet dryer working, and it didn't rain.
Right.
And so I'm
Maybe
like, we're pushing
maybe
our
we oughta-
luck. We fixed it, and then it started raining. I'm like,
Maybe we need to break it
blow
again.
the engine in that thing again. But it's been a savior for us the last 8 years, on or off. We've
And
had,
it's an attraction for people that want to, that come across the country. They want to look at it. They want to watch it.
It was an attraction for me last
Yeah,
year.
first time you see
on
it.
Saturday, I was like, "There's no way."
I
And all of a
get
sudden,
excited
we're racing.
It's
No,
kind
it
of a
doesn't matter how
love-hate.
many times you see it. It's always
It's love-hate
cool.
for me, because if they're starting
Carson
that
is
thing,
gonna
it's,
actually-
it's under bad circumstances. But
Right.
when they started, it's kind of cool.
Yep.
It's just like,
Carson's actually going to ride it this year.
You have to get on a list to do that, don't you? I think
You
Rod only
got to
allows.
you got to sign a waiver and call an insurance company.
Yeah.
Before or after you get your IV card.
Yeah,
I'm going to get an IV too.
We'll see.
we can do that.
Why don't you
live
want to
on
do it?
Facebook.
I'm not much of a needle guy.
Really, that surprises me. You look like you like
Neither
to
am I,
inject,
really, but-
inject yourself with stuff.
But anyhow, okay. So one more thing.
Yeah, I got to hit. I got to hit the road at one.
We're 62 minutes in. We're rambling now. So one more thing about Supernationals is the Prelude. Last year we had 632 cars signed in at the Prelude. 632.
Did we run a B?
Yeah, we ran a couple.
Started them all.
I have proposed possibly adding some feature events. So any division that has 100 cars. There's 100 more cars signed in to race the Prelude. Let's say in modifieds, we'll run 2 features instead of 1. Because last year we had like 139. I have it wrote down here. 130.
So what would your cutoff be?
100 is kind of what
So
I
if
was
you have
thinking.
100 cars, you're on 2 features.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
lot of
2
you doesn't
30-car
watch this
features. Because you get kind of
Right.
back to where it's kind of like a Supernationals format for stock cars and modifieds at that point.
In a one-day
Just
show.
with a little less cars in a one-day show. It kind of piles on, again, some of our biggest daily car counts fall on the Prelude. So we're trying to figure out how we can trim that down a little bit. And I think if we just went to double features, any division that has 100 cars will run 2 features. Instead of running 1 Prelude A-Main, we'll run 2, just like we do mods and stock cars on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday.
Lottie doesn't watch this podcast, does he?
He doesn't. And
Okay, good.
He doesn't, and he's not going to know how much money that adds to the purse because IMCA will pay for it if I have to. But I think it'll help us.
That would
I
actually
think it'll
shorten the show, too. You
it'll-
take out some Bs. And
The goal is to shorten the show, take out some Bs, and take out a little bit of the racing, but still give people the opportunity to be in an A-Main. And instead of a 24 car feature, we'd have 2 30-car features. So you have 60 cars in features instead of 24. Right. So it's more beneficial to the racers.
Yep.
And that would be about half the field then, based on we had numbers last year at the Prelude. 139 mods,
word
133
gets out about
stock
this,
cars.
so you might have more cars.
144 sport mods, so we would basically, you'd have a 50-50 shot, almost 50-50 shot of making the A-Main instead of about a 18 or 15% shot, statistically, for those of you that are good with math like Ryan, right?
Sure.
So I think that's what we're going to do.
my modified license. I'm going to race the Prelude.
Last year I wanted to do it, but I didn't think of it fast enough, and when we're standing in the infield, when the Prelude starts, we don't have the purse ready. We don't have the additional purse. We don't have the trophies. We don't have the big checks. We don't have nothing. It's kind of hard to do that. So this year we're going to plan on that. And look for that announcement for the people who are listening to 65 minutes of our podcast.
What is after?
It is 65 minutes. So that's the plan. So we're gonna try to expand the Prelude a little bit, I think, to get more cars into A-Mains and free up some of our time and get the racing over a little bit sooner on Saturday and Sunday.
Bigger, better, and shorter. You can't beat
Bigger,
that.
better, and shorter. Let's hope so. And then again, we've added some money to our light model purse for Monday. We've added some money to our sport compact purse for Tuesday.
Yep.
We'll entertain adding or making the stock car race on Saturday night, the big dance, 10,000 to win too as well. So.
And lap sponsors, just like always.
Yeah, we got piles of lap sponsors too. There's
Should
so
we
many
put it to a vote?
Sure.
What are we voting for? Oh, the Prelude format?
No.
Or the
stock car
10,000 for
purse.
stock cars?
If you want to, you can.
I think what we could probably do
We should
to
put it on
help
Facebook and
speed
ask
the
them.
Prelude up, we could
See
just
who's
start
listening.
next week.
Yeah. Why not? No.
I
mean,
need
Boone
I
long
need
enough.
another 2 weeks of prep.
If you make it
Yeah.
through the Prelude, Monday through Saturday is all downhill.
Monday through Thursday
Kinda
for me.
slows down a
It
little
is.
bit,
It
doesn't it?
slows, yeah, the longest 2 days. If you get through the Prelude, those are the 2 longest days of the week.
Yeah, and that's the other issue we have at the Prelude is that it just wears us all out on the first 2 nights.
Cuts back on the partying, though.
It wears out our staff. You know, people.
And I'm already bitchy before I even get
you
there.
are kind of
so.
crabby.
Yeah.
That's
Little
why.
bit.
We're
That's
we're
why
hoping to move
you
to
only
Des Moines
like
takes
3
care of
people,
that.
and maybe only 3 people like you.
Yeah, it could be. That could be. I'd like to know who they are so I can piss them
I
off.
like you,
too.
Ryan. You can put me in one of the 3.
All right. Okay.
I'll go part time.
Part time.
Depends on the day. All right. Anything else?
So when are we coming back? What are we doing next? Are we going to do another one before
Depends on our
like
schedules, Nate's
Yeah.
schedule, and my schedule.
we need to do one to get Roger Hayden on.
We
Talk
do.
about race.
Yeah, we
Saver
haven't talked about
Nationals.
Race Saver Nationals at all.
That's the week before Supernationals, so we'd have to do that the next
Yep.
couple
And the
weeks.
Southern Sportmont Nationals at KSP.
You know, it'd be fun to get French on here.
It would.
Would he do it?
I don't know. I think he'd probably in studio would be easier in my opinion than on a phone.
And on a phone,
Yeah.
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 But he's only stopped here maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
So
He's
Yeah.
like, wait, I just sit and listen to him tell stories. That's all you do.
the French is the same
Yeah,
way. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
literally,
just
you can just
sit
let him
there and let him go.
Oh my
let
God.
him talk. He's just like an encyclopedia of racing, sprint car racing, and fuel systems, and
Magnetos.
methanol and magnetos, and I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
What else? Anything?
No.
I don't know. I don't think
Carson's
so.
got to go home.
You
Yeah,
gotta go
I
to
got to get on the
Minnesota.
road.
I got to go to Des Moines. I got to pick up your
My stickers.
stickers.
So we are at 68 minutes. Do we have like 2 minutes to talk about race car shoes?
Oh, yeah.
Do we? Nate, do you
Yeah.
have those pictures?
Yeah,
You can leave, Carson. We
Throw
can
up one of the pictures. I think it's the. I
Practice
think it's
with
one in the
Jerry.
black fire suit. If you have the black fire suit, throw that on the screen. This is a broadcast of an IMCA TV event. I don't know what to say where. Where the gentleman got out of his car in Victory Lane to do the interview, and that's what,
Dude.
and he had Hey Dudes
Hey,
on.
dude.
That's just, I'm not going to say too much because we all make mistakes. That's just not a good idea. I've done that
Dude.
myself. I think that picture right over there has me with.
Tennis
Yep,
shoes.
right
with
there, yellow tennis shoes.
I think those are K-Swiss.
They were.
tennis
I do
shoes.
remember that. They were K-Swiss tennis shoes.
And I remember when I won that race, I forgot my shoes at home, and when I won that race, that's not a sanctioned event. So I was like, okay, what's going to happen?
What did Scott Fry say to you when he was standing next to you in Victory Lane?
True story. I said, do I have to get out of my race car? And he's like, well, you got to get your picture taken. I said, I'm not wearing racing shoes. And he's like, okay. So I got out, but I was wearing K-Swiss. But that gentleman got out wearing Hey Dudes. Throw up the next picture then, Nate, if you would.
Speaking of Hey Dudes.
Speaking of Hey Dudes, these are the Hey Dudes from the record driver in Vinton, Sean Fisher, actually. That is from an exhaust pipe, I think, fell off a hobby stock, or an exhaust extension fell off of a header or something of that nature.
I don't remember what division it was.
It was
but
out on
yeah.
the racetrack, so he decided he was going to push it with his foot.
Oof.
And that's what the exhaust pipe did to his Hey Dudes, just by touching it.
And it went through his sock, too. You can see his toe there.
Yeah. So it's just not a good idea.
Heat and Hey Dudes don't mix.
They really don't. They really don't. I mean, even if you get into some of the ratings at SA, the SA ratings on fire ratings on how long they last, some of them are fairly lengthy. Some of them, are not fairly lengthy, but even still, they're better than a split second.
Enough to get a fire
heat.
extinguisher there.
Right.
Or
the Hey
whatever.
Dude SA ratings is
Yeah.
approximately 0.3 seconds.
Coincidentally, that racer was disqualified, just so people know. Unfortunately. Yeah,
Your
I know.
Hey Dudes wearing as part of a
Disqualifying.
racing suit turned into hey, that's hot dudes.
Disqualifying racers is just no fun. We
No.
see the race reports here every week now, and the number one thing is rough driving and unsportsmanlike conduct.
The numbers are down this year. They are down.
That's good. It's good because if we're not
Still too
disqualifying,
many, but-
you see a lot of some weight violations and stuff like that. We can go over that some other podcast late in the year on the DQs we experienced this year.
Being an ass.
Yeah, we get some of the race reports are pretty candid. It's kind of
Thank
fun.
you, Heather.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, but just want to remind everybody, make sure you're wearing your safety equipment, especially when you come to Supernationals. Make sure your stuff's all up to par, your helmet ratings. If you're wearing a Hans,
Make sure you have a receiver.
Yeah, make sure you have a receiver and a transponder for Supernationals, but that's secondary to we can handle that stuff. But
Yep.
gloves, make sure you're wearing SA rated or fire retardant gloves, not SA rated, but fire retardant gloves and shoes. Give you a little extra time in case there's a fire. Remember that time that the engine, was it the engine that went through that? It's a
Fuel cell.
went through that guy's.
Jeremiah Reed, the 9J car, I think it landed on his race car.
That is one of the most.
That's bizarre. It was just
Yeah, I don't know what words you would use to describe that, because there's all kinds of words that could be used, but that was one of the wildest things I've ever seen.
terrifying for
ever
a few moments.
at a racetrack.
That was terrifying.
I think
Nuts.
I
I'm
know
sure
how
Nate,
he
Nate
described
probably
it.
has the video somewhere, but we'll worry
He
about
probably
that
said the
another
word that we can't say on here, didn't he?
Oh shit!
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, you weren't there for that one. Yeah, that was a year or two before you.
Flying
It's on. I think
fuel
it's
cell.
online.
I've seen the video of it.
It just landed.
It's like,
Right.
how's that happen? It happens. Anybody have anything else?
I'm good.
I do want to
Good.
thank everybody for not inviting Jerry.
Yep.
I didn't even
But that
say a
was a
word
good
to
call.
him. I put it on my Snapchat story, so I don't know if he's read
Oh,
it
now
yet.
now he'll whine to you.
Well, he would find out about it anyway.
We
Yep.
miss you, Jerry.
He's too busy
if you're
anyway.
missing in for the if you're listening for the
He is
72
too
minutes, we
busy
miss you.
anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Nate's talking in my ear about all the cool stuff we're doing for the Supernationals video. You know, obviously we're going to have the IMCA TV package available. We'll announce that if we haven't done it already. Next week, we'll announce the packages. But we've got the FVP, the famous first person viewer, FPV, first person viewer drone team is coming back. Same guys, right? Instead of the last 3 days, they're coming for all the days.
So they're going to do all that stuff that really we didn't see them do last year. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to do all that cool shit every day. So that'll be awesome.
So awesome.
We got a documentary. What's that? Is it called Boone?
I think it's Fuel the Thunder.
No, it's not Feel the Thunder, Jim. That one's
Okay.
still that one's still in the production floor. We're gonna do a documentary, like a four episode documentary. So we've got a guy hired to come shoot specifically for that. So that'll be cool. But again, we're kind of ramping up. Nate and Chris and everybody on IMCA TV, Garrett.
Chris
Ian,
got a new
so-
job. Chris got a new job. He's working the camera
Oh,
in
yeah,
the infield.
Exactly.
We got him running shoes.
Get him
Chris
back.
who?
Grainer.
Bullshit. That's not going to happen. I know better than that.
You know, the core
Where's the
guys.
start?
Is there going to be a
For that
cot
to
out there for him to take a nap in while he's out there shooting his videos?
Yeah, the core guys, Chris and Nate and Garrett and Ian and the guys who are what I consider to be the core guys at IMCA TV or behind the scenes at IMCA TV are obviously going to be there, and they're working pretty hard already. You know, we employ more people for IMCA TV at Supernationals than we do for IMCA. So that's how important the streaming and the broadcast has become, and I think our race fans and everybody, you know, if you set the expectations high for that team this year, you're going to be happy with what you see, because they say they're going to do a broadcast like never been done in dirt track racing. So that's pretty exciting. They got
always-
a lot of cool ideas and a lot of
Yeah.
I
cool
always
things going
thought
on.
It was because like Carson and Ryan and Dave and all of us worked 3 times harder. than
Yeah, I was going to say we're just
IMCA.
better at what we do. Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's it too. But no, yeah, it's going to be, you know, the broadcast is going to be cool. So look for the package details in a week or so. And again, we're moving the jumbotrons to the infield.
There won't
I
be
think
any
it'll
off at turn 4 again.
No, that's going to the infield. I think it'll be a little bit more fan friendly out in the infield.
Easier to see.
If you're sitting on, you know, the current the catwalks in 1 and 2, you
So
might
there's
not
going to be one face on each side.
one face in each side.
Wow.
Yep, that's the plan.
Let's wrap it up.
So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
done. Yeah. Nate's.
I got to hit the road.
Yeah, I think
Carson's
Carson's
gotta-
wife's calling, pissed off that he's still here.
She's
late for
texted me
dinner.
3
Is
times.
she?
get on
Only
the road.
13 minutes left.
All right. Well, again,
End
I
it,
wanna-
Yeah.
end it, Ryan.
No, end it, Brett. You were getting ready to talk?
Yep.
just want to thank everybody for listening. Sorry we rambled for 15 extra minutes, but that's kind of typical for me.
Boy, if that's not the perfect way to end this thing.
Yeah. But check out our Facebook page for Supernationals as well. IMCA TV for broadcasting details for Supernationals. We do have a private IMCA Supernationals Facebook page. If you want to be a part of that, I usually approve it. But if you don't answer the security questions, the system just doesn't let you get approved. If you
Right.
can't tell us who your favorite racer is,
You shouldn't be in there anyway.
yeah, you're not going to be allowed. There's an automatic function that says if you don't answer all these questions, it just eliminates it. So I don't have to mess with people that really don't seem to be too serious about it. We
Right.
don't care who that person is.
Right.
Just make sure it's a racer that makes sense.
And we are approaching 800 registrations for Supernationals. Once we get there, I'll make
Yep.
another stats post.
Yep,
on
that's
the
where
page.
Ryan's posting a lot of that stuff, and we're posting apparel pictures and
All
event
sorts of good
details
stuff.
and all kinds of stuff like that. So check that out, IMCA Supernationals Facebook page as well if you want more detailed event information, or head to imca.com. on the Supernationals drop-down menu if you have any specific stuff about daily schedules and stuff like that. All that stuff should be up to date.
Perfect.
That's it for now.
We'll be back.
Everybody have a great
in a week
day.
or two. Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah,
Perfect.
why not? As long as Jerry's not around, why not?